Well, hello there. I'm Matthew McConaughey, and tonight, as the day slowly drifts away behind you, and the world begins to soften at its edges, you are invited to journey to a place that exists somewhere between memory and dream. A place where the sea is always calm, where lanterns glow softly through silver mist, where no one is in a hurry, and where every path eventually leads home. As you settle into comfort, allow your breathing to become easy. There is nowhere to go, nothing to accomplish, nothing expected of you. For this little while, you may simply listen and wander and rest far beyond busy cities, beyond crowded roads, and beyond the places marked on ordinary maps. There lies a quiet village called Moonwater Bay, a village known only to sailors, storytellers, and dreamers. Its shoreline curves gently around a peaceful harbor. Its cottages sit beneath rolling hills covered with wildflowers. And each evening, when the first stars begin to appear, a single lantern is lit. Not because ships need guidance, not because storms threaten the coast, but because tradition says that every dream deserves a light to follow, and that lantern belongs to the lantern keeper. Tonight, you will walk beside him. Chapter: Annette. First lantern. The lantern keeper's name was Elias. He lived in a small stone cottage overlooking the sea. Every morning he woke with the sunrise. Every evening he lit the harbor lantern, and every night he walked the quiet paths of Moonwater Bay. His cottage stood atop a gentle hill. A winding path of smooth stones led down toward the harbor. Lavender grew beside the path. Wild thyme covered the hillside, and seagrass danced softly in the breeze. The cottage itself was simple: a weathered wooden door, round windows glowing with warm amber light, a small garden filled with herbs and flowers, and beside the front gate, a single white bench where Elias often sat to watch the horizon. This evening was much like every other. The sky carried shades of gold and rose. The sea reflected ribbons of fading sunlight, and the village moved slowly through its familiar routines. A baker closed his shop. Children returned home for supper. Fishing boats rested quietly in the harbor. The world seemed perfectly content. Elias stepped outside carrying his lantern. It was not large, nor was it particularly bright. Yet its gentle glow possessed a curious warmth, the kind of warmth that made people smile without realizing why, the kind of warmth that reminded travelers they were welcome. Slowly, Elias began his walk toward the harbor. As he walked, he greeted familiar sights: the old willow tree near the village square, the stone fountain where birds gathered each morning, the sleepy orange cat who always seemed to appear at exactly the same time each evening. Nothing was rushed. Nothing demanded attention. Every step belonged exactly where it was. And as he reached the harbor, the first evening star appeared above the sea. Elias paused, looked upward, and smiled, because no matter how many years passed, the first star always felt like a greeting from an old friend. He climbed the narrow steps leading to the harbor lantern, one hand resting on the rail, the other holding his own lantern close. The sea stretched endlessly before him, calm, silver blue. Far away, small islands rested upon the horizon like sleeping giants. Clouds drifted slowly overhead. The world seemed to exhale. At the top of the lighthouse platform, Elias opened the lantern housing. Inside rested the village flame, a flame that had burned every evening for generations. not because it had to, but because traditions carry comfort, and comfort carries stories. Carefully, he touched his lantern to the waiting wick. Golden light blossomed softly. The harbor lantern awakened. Its glow spread across the water, across the docks, across the quiet village. And for a moment, everything seemed to shine. Not brightly, not dramatically. Just enough. Just enough to remind the night that it was welcome. Ilias watched the lantern for a while, then turned toward home. But tonight, something unusual waited along the path. A tiny lantern, no larger than his hand, resting beside the road, glowing faintly, as if someone had forgotten it, or perhaps as if it had been left there intentionally. Ilias knelt beside it. The little lantern was beautiful. Its glass shimmered with colors that seemed to shift like moonlight on water. Silver blue, pale gold. It held no flame, and yet it glowed softly, peacefully, patiently. Attached to the handle was a small note. Only 3 words were written upon it: "Follow when ready." Ilias looked around. The path was empty. The village was quiet. The sea whispered gently below, and somewhere in the distance, an owl called into the approaching night. He smiled because Moonwater Bay had always welcomed mysteries. And some mysteries arrived exactly when they were meant to. So Elias picked up the little lantern and began to walk, not toward home, but toward the moonlit hills beyond the village, toward places few people visited after sunset, toward the beginning of a journey that would carry him through sleeping gardens, silver forests, floating lantern rivers, and hidden shores known only to dreams. And as he disappeared along the winding path, the village lights glowed quietly behind him. The harbor lantern shone steadily above the sea, and the stars gathered one by one across the night sky, waiting, watching, guiding, as every good lantern does. Chapter 2. A garden that never closed. The moon climbed higher above Moonwater Bay. Its silver light stretched across the hills like a blanket woven from quiet dreams. Ilias followed the little lantern. It floated just ahead of him. Not far, never rushing, always moving at a pace that felt natural. The path curved gently through fields of lavender. The flowers swayed softly in the night breeze. Their fragrance drifted through the air, calm, sweet, familiar. Soon the village lights disappeared behind a hill. Ahead stood a wooden gate covered with flowering vines. Ilias stopped. He had passed this place many times during daylight, yet he had never seen the gate open before. Tonight it stood wide, dividing, welcoming. The little lantern drifted through, so Elias followed. Beyond the gate lay a garden, unlike any he had ever seen. Moonflowers glowed softly among winding paths. Tall silver grasses shimmered like flowing water. Tiny lights floated among the branches of ancient fruit trees. The entire garden seemed awake, not busy, not lively, simply awake, as though it enjoyed the peaceful company of the night. Ilias wandered slowly. Every corner revealed something beautiful. A pond covered in white lilies, a circle of stone benches beneath flowering trees, rows of herbs releasing gentle fragrances into the cool air. He noticed something unusual. Every plant seemed perfectly content. No leaves strained toward sunlight. No blossoms competed for attention. Everything simply existed, peacefully, gracefully, exactly as it was. And somehow that feeling spread to Elias. His shoulders relaxed. His breathing deepened. His thoughts became quiet. The little lantern settled beside a stone bench. Elias sat. For a long while he listened, not to words, not to music, but to the soft sounds of the garden itself. Leaves rustling, water flowing, branches swaying, the gentle heartbeat of the natural world. And before he rose again, he felt lighter, as though he had left behind worries he did not even know he carried. The little lantern lifted once more. Its glow pointed toward the forest beyond the garden. And so the journey continued. Chapter 3. The Silver Forest. Beyond the garden stood a forest of towering trees. Their trunks were pale silver. Their leaves shimmered softly beneath the moon. Elias stepped beneath the canopy. Immediately, the world grew quieter. The wind softened. The air cooled. Moonlight filtered through the branches in delicate patterns. The forest felt endless, yet not confusing. Every path seemed to know where it was going. The little lantern drifted ahead. Its glow reflected upon the silver bark as Elias walked. He noticed something remarkable. The trees seemed older than memory itself. Their roots disappeared deep into the earth. Their branches reached toward distant stars. Yet there was nothing intimidating about them. Instead, they felt protective, like gentle guardians watching over countless generations. Further along the path, Elias discovered small lanterns hanging from the branches, hundreds of them, perhaps thousands, each glowing softly, each unique. Some shone blue, others gold, some glowed pale green, others silver white. The sight was breathtaking. The forest canopy had become a sky of lanterns. Elias paused beneath them. The little lantern beside him brightened slightly. And suddenly he understood. These lanterns represented dreams. Every dream ever dreamed in Moonwater Bay. Dreams of adventure, dreams of friendship, dreams of discovery, dreams of peace. None forgotten, all gently preserved among the branches. The realization filled him with quiet wonder. How many dreams had passed through these woods? How many hopes? How many beautiful imaginings? The forest held them all, not as memories, but as lights. Steady pound, eternal. Elias continued walking beneath the glowing canopy. And with every step, the lanterns above seemed to shine just a little warmer, as though welcoming him deeper into the mystery. Chapter 4. River of floating lights. At last the forest opened. Beyond it flowed a river, wide and calm. Its surface reflected the stars perfectly. So perfectly that sky and water appeared to become one. The little lantern drifted toward the riverbank waiting. Nearby rested a small wooden boat. It looked freshly made, smooth, sipsel, strong. No rope held it. No oars rested inside, yet somehow Elias knew it was meant for him. He stepped aboard. The boat gently pushed away from shore. Silently, effortlessly, the current carried him forward. Soon he noticed hundreds of floating lanterns drifting upon the water. Each one glowed softly. Golden reflections danced across the river's surface. The sight felt impossibly peaceful. The lanterns moved together, never colliding, never hurried, simply flowing. The boat joined them. For a while, Elias watched in silence. The river curved between rolling hills. Above him stretched a sky overflowing with stars. Below him floated a second sky made entirely of lantern light. The boundary between earth and heaven seemed to disappear. Minutes passed, or perhaps hours. Time no longer felt important. The boat drifted onward. The lanterns drifted onward. The river drifted onward. And Elias felt as though he were floating not only through water, but through calm itself. Ahead, far. In the distance, he noticed something shining along the shoreline, a place unlike any he had seen before, a shore made entirely of pale moonlit sand, and there, waiting quietly beneath the stars, stood a lighthouse, unlike the one in Moonwater Bay, taller, older, brighter. The little lantern beside him glowed warmly, as if saying, the journey was only beginning. Chapter 5. Lighthouse. Beyond the sea. The boat drifted steadily toward the shining shore. The river widened. The floating lanterns spread across the water like scattered stars, and ahead, the great lighthouse rose into the night sky. Its tower appeared ancient, older than stone, older than maps, older perhaps than memory itself. Its pale walls seemed carved from moonlight. Its windows glowed with a warm golden radiance, and from the lantern room at the very top, a gentle beam swept across the horizon. Not bright, not startling, only comforting. The kind of light that quietly says, you are exactly where you need to be. The boat touched the shore without a sound. Elias stepped onto the pale sand. The grains sparkled softly beneath his feet. The little lantern floated beside him, Captain as ever waiting. A winding staircase climbed toward the lighthouse entrance. Elias followed. The air felt still here. Not empty, not silent, but deeply peaceful, like the moment just before falling asleep. At the top of the stairs stood an old wooden door. It opened before he reached it. No creak, no movement, simply open. As though the lighthouse had been expecting him. Inside, a spiral staircase curved upward. Each step glowed faintly. Golden light flowed gently down the walls, and somewhere above, he could hear the steady turning of the great lantern. Round and round, round and round. Like a slow heartbeat, Elias climbed, one step, then another, never rushing. The higher he climbed, the lighter he felt. The worries of ordinary days seemed farther away. The questions that often occupied the mind grew quieter. Even his memories felt softer, like clouds drifting across a summer sky. At last he reached the lantern room. The chamber was circular. Large windows surrounded him. Beyond them stretched endless stars. The sea, the sky, the distant hills, everything bathed in silver moonlight. At the center stood the great lantern. Its flame glowed steadily, golden, warm, endless. Beside it sat an elderly woman in a blue cloak. Her silver hair shimmered in the lantern light. Her eyes reflected the stars. And when she smiled, it felt like greeting someone he had always known. "Welcome, Lantern Keeper," she said softly. Her voice sounded almost like the sea. Elias bowed his head politely. "Who are you?" he asked. The woman smiled. "I watch over the lights that guide dreamers home." She gently placed her hand upon the lantern. "Every dream needs a path. Every traveler needs a light. And every resting heart deserves peace." Elias listened quietly. The woman pointed toward the windows. Outside, he noticed thousands upon thousands of tiny lights. Not stars, not ships. Lanterns. floating across distant landscapes, redding above forests, glowing over oceans, drifting through valleys, each one guiding a dreamer somewhere in the world. The sight filled him with wonder. Never before had he realized how many dream journeys unfolded each night. The woman smiled. There are more dreamers than stars visible in the sky. The lantern turned slowly, its golden beam sweeping across the horizon. Steady, gentle, constant. Elias stood beside it for a long while, watching, breathing, listening, until finally, the little lantern beside him brightened once more. The journey was calling him onward. Chapter 6. Library of Quiet Memories. Beyond the lighthouse stood a narrow path. It curved along the shoreline. Moonlit waves whispered against the sand. And ahead, another building appeared, unlike any library Elias had ever seen. Its walls were made of smooth white stone. Its roof curved gently, like the wing of a bird. Tall windows glowed softly from within. The little lantern drifted toward the entrance. The doors opened quietly. Inside, shelves stretched farther than seemed possible. Thousands upon thousands of books. Yet the room felt peaceful. Not crowded, not overwhelming, warm, comfortable, welcoming. A fire crackled gently in a distant hearth. Large armchairs rested beside tall windows. Soft lamps illuminated reading tables. The air carried the scent of old paper and cedar wood. Elias walked between the shelves. The titles upon the books were unusual. Some read, "The Sound of Summer Rain," "The Day the Wind Changed Direction," "The Taste of Fresh Bread at Sunrise," "The Memory of Walking Barefoot Through Grass." Each volume appeared to contain something simple, something gentle, something easily forgotten during busy days. A librarian approached. He wore a long gray coat. His expression was kind. "What are these books?" Elias asked. The librarian smiled. "They are quiet memories, moments people once loved, moments they thought had disappeared." He carefully removed a book from a shelf. Opening it, he revealed not words, but living memories. Inside the pages, a child flew a kite beneath a blue sky. The grass moved in the breeze. The child laughed. The clouds drifted overhead. The memory felt alive. Real. Present. Elias watched in amazement. The librarian closed the book. Gentle moments are precious. Many people forget them, so we keep them safe. Together they wandered through the library. Each shelf held simple treasures, the warmth of a family meal, a peaceful walk at sunset, the smell of the sea, the feeling of a favorite blanket, the comfort of hearing rain while safely indoors. All preserved, all remembered, all cherished. At last Elias sat beside a window. Outside, moonlight covered the landscape. The librarian placed a book upon the table. Its cover was blank. "What is this one?" Elias asked. The librarian smiled. "That is yours." Elias opened it. Inside were countless peaceful moments from his own life. Watching waves, walking village paths, sharing conversations, listening to birds at dawn. Still things, beautiful things, things that truly mattered. For a long while, he quietly turned the pages, remembering, appreciating, smiling. Then at last, the little lantern glowed once more. Another chapter of the journey awaited. Chapter 7. Of sleeping stars, the path led beyond the library, over gentle hills, across quiet meadows, toward a valley bathed in silver light. The night felt softer here, the air warmer, the breeze gentler. Ilias stepped onto a grassy ridge and stopped. Below him stretched one of the most beautiful sights he had ever seen. Thousands of stars rested upon the ground, not in the sky, upon the earth itself. Tiny lights, nestled among flowers, glowing softly, breathing gently, like sleeping fireflies. Or perhaps, like dreams themselves, the entire valley shimmered. Silver, gold, blue, white. The little lantern floated downward, leading him among the sleeping stars. As he walked, he noticed each star pulsed slowly, brightening, then dimming, like calm breathing, in and out, in and out. The rhythm spread throughout the valley, every star breathing together, every light moving in harmony. The effect was soothing beyond words. Ilias sat among them. The stars continued their gentle rhythm, in and out, in and out. The breeze joined them. The flowers joined them. The distant trees joined them. Even the clouds overhead seemed to move with the same peaceful cadence. And before long, Ilias found himself breathing in the same rhythm, slowly, comfortably, effortlessly. The valley felt less like a place and more like a lullaby written by moonlight, a lullaby sung by stars, a lullaby carried gently through the sleeping world. The little lantern settled beside him, its glow now calm and steady, as if it too were resting. And nothing happened at all. Only breathing, only stillness, only peace. Chapter 8. Taups, Mountain of Quiet Clouds. When Elias finally rose from the valley of sleeping stars, the little lantern floated gently ahead once more. Its glow was softer now, warmer, almost as though it understood that the journey was approaching its final chapters. The path climbed gradually upward, across rolling hills, through fields of silver grass, toward a distant mountain whose peak disappeared into drifting clouds. The climb was gentle, never steep, never difficult. Each step felt easy, natural, comfortable. The higher Elias climbed, the quieter the world became. The breeze softened. The distant sounds faded. Even the stars seemed quieter somehow. Soon he entered the clouds themselves. They were unlike ordinary clouds. These moved slowly, gracefully, like enormous rivers flowing through the sky. Soft white mist surrounded him, cool against his skin, gentle against his face. The little lantern glowed through the mist, a small, golden companion, leading him onward. At last, he reached the summit. And there he discovered something remarkable. The peak was covered in clouds, not beneath them, not surrounded by them, covered by them, like a vast, white meadow, stretching endlessly in every direction. The clouds were thick enough to walk upon, soft as fresh snow, light as feathers. Elias stepped forward. The cloud meadow held him effortlessly. Above, the stars shone brightly. Below, the sleeping world rested in darkness. Between them, the mountain floated peacefully in silence. He sat and looked out across the horizon. For the first time all night, there was nowhere else to go. Nothing left to discover, no mystery to solve, no destination to reach. Only stillness, only presence, only peace. The little lantern settled beside him. Neither moved, neither spoke. They simply watched. Clouds drifted, stars shimmered. The moon crossed slowly through the heavens. Time passed. passed unnoticed. And somewhere deep within, Elias felt a quiet understanding. The purpose of every journey is not to arrive somewhere different. It is to return, seeing the familiar with new eyes. The little lantern brightened gently. One final time, the path home awaited. Chapter 9. The return to Moonwater Bay. The descent felt different, not because the landscape had changed, but because Elias had changed. The same hills welcomed him. The same stars guided him. The same moon illuminated the path. Yet everything felt somehow richer, more beautiful, more alive. The little lantern guided him down the mountain, across sleeping meadows, past quiet forests, beside peaceful streams. The world seemed wrapped in a blanket of moonlight as dawn slowly approached. The eastern horizon grew pale. The stars began their gradual retreat, one by one, softly, without hurry. Eventually, the familiar coastline appeared, Moonwater Bay, resting peacefully beside the sea. Its cottages slept beneath fading starlight. Its harbor remained calm. Its lighthouse lantern still glowed warmly. Above the water, Elias paused upon a hill overlooking the village and smiled. Home. The word itself felt comforting, not because home was perfect, but because it was familiar, because it welcomed him, because it belonged to him. The little lantern drifted beside him. Together they watched the village below, the baker's chimney, the village square, the winding paths, the gardens, the harbor, all unchanged, and yet somehow new. The first birds began to sing, softly, tentatively, greeting the approaching dawn. The sea reflected pale ribbons of silver light. The world slowly awakened. Elias began the final walk toward his cottage. Each step carried gratitude for the journey, for the village, for the simple beauty of ordinary things. At the gate of his cottage, the little lantern finally stopped. Its glow shimmered softly, almost like a smile. Elias knelt beside it. "Thank you," he whispered. The lantern brightened once, warmly, then slowly. Its light faded, not suddenly, not sadly, simply gently, until only the dawn remained. The journey had ended, and yet its peace remained. Chapter 10. Last Lantern. Morning approached slowly. The horizon glowed with pale gold. The sky shifted from deep blue to soft gray. Birdsong drifted across the hillside. The sea remained calm. Elias sat upon the white bench beside his cottage, the same bench where he often watched the horizon, the same bench he had sat upon countless times before. Yet today felt different. The world seemed quieter, not because there was less sound, but because he listened differently. He noticed details he might once have overlooked: the movement of clouds, the fragrance of lavender, the warmth of morning light, the rhythm of waves reaching shore. Simple things, beautiful things, enough things. As the sun slowly rose, its first rays touched the harbor lantern. The lantern he lit each evening, the lantern that welcomed every night. Golden light reflected from its glass, and for a brief moment, it appeared brighter than ever. Elias watched quietly. Then he smiled, because he finally understood. The lanterns were never truly about light. They were reminders. Reminders to notice, reminders to appreciate, reminders to slow down, reminders to be present. The greatest lantern was attention itself, the simple act of seeing, of listening, of being here. And so the lantern keeper sat quietly, watching the morning arrive, breathing slowly, content peaceful. Home, the sea sparkled, the village awakened, the world turned gently onward, and all was well. And now, dear listener, the journey grows very quiet. There are no more paths to follow, no more hills to climb, no more lanterns to discover. Only rest, only comfort, only peace. Imagine yourself sitting beside Elias upon the white bench. The sea stretches before you. Calm, endless save. A gentle breeze drifts across the hillside. Lavender sways softly. The harbor lantern glows warmly in the distance. The morning remains still. You have nowhere to go, nothing to achieve, nothing to solve. Everything can wait for now. Simply rest. Notice your breathing, slow, easy, comfortable. In and out, in and out. The waves follow the same rhythm. Reaching shore, returning again. Reaching shore, returning again. The clouds move slowly across the sky. The birds drift lazily upon the breeze. The flowers sway gently. Everything moves with calm purpose. Nothing hurries. Nothing demands. Nothing pulls you away from this peaceful moment. Imagine the warmth of sunlight resting softly upon your shoulders. Not hot, not bright, just comfortable. The perfect warmth, the perfect stillness, the perfect morning. And perhaps now, the bench begins to fade. The hillside begins to soften. The sea becomes distant. The village grows quiet. The lantern glows faintly in the distance, smaller, softer, gentler, until all that remains is comfort and calm and rest. The waves become quieter. The breeze becomes softer. The sky becomes peaceful and endless. Your breathing remains slow, steady, easy, in and out, in and out. Nothing more is required. Nothing more is needed. You have arrived. You are safe. You are comfortable. You are at rest. And somewhere beyond thought, beyond plans, beyond worries, the lantern continues to glow. A small warm light, steady, constant, watching over peaceful dreams, watching over quiet waters, watching over sleeping villages, watching over you. And as the light grows softer and softer and softer still, the story drifts away like mist above the sea. The waves continue, the breeze continues, the stars continue, the lantern continues, and you may simply rest. Long pause, longer pause, and longer still. Good night and peaceful dreams.